This July 22nd through the 24th, Brown Girls Do Gymnastics and Fisk University will host the 6th annual BGDC conference. People from across the U.S. will converge on Nashville for this special event. Come see who will be the next Simone Biles or Lori Hernandez in action. Now let's hear from the founder of Brown Girls Do Gymnastics, Miss Derrin Moore.
Thank you for having us. We're super excited. Okay, so this will be our 6th annual Brown Girls Do Gymnastics conference. It will be held on the campus of Fisk University. That is actually at the end of the week. So we have a whole week of events happening at Fisk in July. First, we'll have Camp Isla, which will be from the 19th of July to the 22nd. That's a high performance camp for upper level competitive gymnasts. And then we will have the conference. That's the 22nd through the 23rd. That will be for gymnast and an adult figure. So a mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, granddad, grandpa, grandma. And then after that, we'll have an invitational. Invitational for gymnastics means competition. So we will have a competition with girls from all over the country. They'll come together and compete in a quad meet that's similar to how collegiate gymnasts compete. And then after the invitational, we'll have an exhibition, which will be former and current collegiate gymnast. And that will happen all on Fisk campus.
Thank you so much. Really happy to be here. Thrilled. I cannot wait. I live in Minnesota, so I'm very excited to go to Nashville in the summer. But also, I'm just really excited to continue to engage with young athletes who are pursuing collegiate gymnastics, discussing judging with their parents and helping provide clarity to, what it is judges are looking for. And as far as Fisk having a gymnastics team, that's so huge. I'm so excited to just see that program continue to build, and hopefully, we'll have more HBCUs who will jump on the gymnastics team train, and we'll just have a lot more gymnastics. But really excited.
Hi, thank you, thank you. Well, I think it depends. So if you start at an early age, like walking, which a lot of people do, they start when they're walking to just work on developmental skills, work on hand-eye coordination. And if you do it that early, it just allows you to demolish the fear. So you're able to get in, work on those things, be up high, be narrow on the beam, things that are small, and hang and develop this trust and this body awareness that you may not have been able to get if you started at a later age. I didn't start gymnastics until I was almost 7, which is considered late. However, it really is dependent upon what your body is capable of doing and if your brain can allow you to do it without getting in the way.
Oh boy. I don't even know which part to say. I guess it started, I could say it started 40 plus years ago when I started gymnastics. There was always, I always knew that I was different in gymnastics. So when I was a little girl, I always wanted to coach gymnastics. I wanted to have a gym with Black and brown girls. So I could kind of say it started back then. But in 2015, I was on the internet on Instagram and saw Brown Girls Do Ballet. And the founder, Takia Wallace, posted something that said, "What should I do this year?" So she had a lot of people following her. It was a photography account, some beautiful pictures of ballerinas. And I said, start a gymnastics one. And I went back to check to see if she had said anything. And it was gone. And so I looked in my inbox, and she had actually inboxed me and she said that I should do it myself. And I said no, because because I had a gym and I was busy and already doing things. And she was like, well, just go get the domain, and if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But after thinking about it and knowing that it was something that's needed, I decided to go ahead and give it a try. And from there, we built Brown Girls Do Gymnastics with everybody's help. Extremely important. To have a judge, like you said, that is a very important role. It's what everybody sees. It's what everybody goes to competition to get the score. But to have someone who can explain what the judges are looking for, coming from a Black woman, brown woman, it's extremely helpful for the girls. They listen to it more. They feel like it's that she understands where they're coming from. So it's extremely important to have someone on our board who can explain all of that, not only to the girls, but to the parents and to us. There are a lot of rules that even if you coach, you may not know all of the specific rules. So it's super important to have a judge, and especially Jasmine, who's really passionate about diversity and equity and inclusion. So we're happy to have Jasmine. Thanks, Jasmine. Um, and as far as Mel, Mel has been, and she's modest. Mel has done every part of gymnastics that there is to do. She did rec, she did club competitions, she did collegiate gymnastics and elite. There's nothing else you can do in gymnastics. She's gone to Olympic trials. Look at her, she's blushing. And so with her having all of this experience from all of these different facets of gymnastics, outside of gymnastics, traditional gymnastics, she also performed with Cirque du Soleil. So there's that aspect too. She's a personal trainer. She's got everything. And so for her to be in charge of the education and training for the girls, you couldn't ask for a better person for that. And it's so needed. So thank you, Mel.
That's a good question. So, yeah, you got it. Yeah, we do look for things like facial expression or your overall level of confidence or sureness. It's another way that we call it, or artistry. So, how well you express yourself, specifically on beam and floor. So, really, the goal is to make the difficult look easy, right? So, when you're on beam, you need to make it look like you're competing on a floor. You need to make it look like you're competing on something that's not 4 inches wide, but rather, anyone could get up there and do it. That's the goal. So part of that would be facial expressions. If you look like, you're gonna puke, we don't necessarily take a deduction for that, but it is something that plays into that overall level of confidence that's being given off to the judges. So we look at that on beam and floor in particular. And then in terms of vault and bars, we look at, again, making the difficult look easy. So again, on bars, we don't need them to look at us when they're in a handstand, right? That would be dangerous. But we do need them to make their flight skills sky high, their turning skills really crisp, things like that, just to make sure that, again, it would look like the layperson could get on the bar and do that skill.
Well, it definitely took up my life. Let's just say that. You would go in the gym in the morning, you'd go to school the late morning to the early afternoon, and then you'd go back to gymnastics, and then you'd go home, and then that's homework, dinner, and then it's bedtime. So your priorities have shifted. So if you're committed and you're in it the way I was in it at that time, I think times have kind of shifted a little bit as well. It's not as intense as it was the old school way. But if you do have that mentality towards it, then you have to have your priorities in check, and you have to have that support also from your family and your coaching staff to be able to support, that demand for both gymnastics and your education. And I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a school. I went to a performing arts school that allowed me to be able to go into school late and to leave school early, in addition to being on national team where I was traveling all the time. I missed, a week every month or sometimes I would miss 3 weeks, and sometimes I'd miss 6 weeks. And so they were able to support that and give me assignments on the road, and it was just a unique situation. But being able to seek out facilities that can support that, and or your family and your coaching staff, is huge. So, but they do have now the virtual system, which is a lot more functional with what the demand is now in gymnastics. So that helps a lot more. They didn't have that when I was in school.
It's excited is not even, I can't even think of the word. There has to be a word that's bigger than excited. I'm sure there is. For 7 years, since the beginning of Brown Girls Do Gymnastics, we've been campaigning to bring gymnastics to HBCUs. It's been difficult to get people to listen. It's been difficult to get people to even believe that there are enough Black and brown girls to have gymnastics at HBCUs. So for it to happen now it's a little unbelievable. Kind of have to pinch myself. It's a little surreal when we see these girls. So now girls are actually committing to the team. I think there are 9 girls who've committed publicly. Every time there's a new girl, it's like a chill goes through your body, knowing that this is actually happening. I grew up in Tallahassee, FAMU, and went to all of the home football games, traveled not with the team, but my family would go and watch the football games. So HBCU culture it's inside of me. And to have the culture of HBCU and gymnastics merge, it's beautiful. I tell people all the time, when we get there, I'm sure I'm going to start crying. We're super excited.
Awareness. We want more people to see what the organization is about. We want them to see Fisk. We want them to see the energy, the life, the love, how, we go in there and you see all these beautiful, talented, amazing brown and Black gymnasts doing what they love, and doing it together. It's one thing when it's like you're just doing your sport and you're in your city and you're competing and you're just grinding on your own. But when everyone comes together, there's a different kind of vibe. There's a different kind of energy that it brings. And that is what's special. That is that magic. That is what gives like the chills down your body. That I think is really going to be that standout moment at Fisk. And I think that's going to be, hopefully for the school and for others to see. I hope it's enlightening, and we're able to get more out of it with other HBCUs catching on as well.
Yeah, so excited. I am currently one of 2 Black judges in Minnesota. This is the first year that I got my buddy, the other Black judge, to start judging college. So up until this year, I was the only Black judge in Minnesota who judged college. And just for context, we have the University of Minnesota up here, but we also have 7 Division III colleges that have gymnastics between Minnesota and Wisconsin. And they pretty much throughout their entire career, they only see gymnastics judges from Minnesota and Wisconsin. So for any athlete of color at one of those 7 schools, I'm the only one that they'd see who's not white in that judging chair. So it was a big deal when I was able to get my friend, the other Black judge, to start judging college this year. And I'm really excited to just continue to see that grow. I've been working with Derrin and Brown Girls Do Gymnastics to recruit additional judges throughout the country to get more women of color to, sit in the chair. As you know, I don't need to tell any of y'all, but representation is really important. We need to have it at every level of the sport. And I'm really excited to contribute to that. Now, going to this event and being one of 6 Black judges at the gymnastics meet that we'll have at the end, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it. It's an experience that I've never had before, never as a gymnast, throughout club and college, and never as a judge have I been able to go into a space and have so many people look like me. And just thinking about how big of a deal that is for the athletes there, where they can see all of these brown and Black women in leadership roles. That's something that they can look to. If you can see it, then you can be it. And we're just really excited to contribute to that. And I'm getting chills just talking about it right now. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.